Thank you for joining. My name is Irvin Harris, Managing Director of Rainmaker Business Development Organization, and I'm glad you joined us today because I have some exciting things to share with you. What we're going to do is go over some simple and scientific ways to grow your business and double your business within the next 12 to 18 months. Simple but scientific principles that can help nearly any company double their revenues and profits within the next 12 to 18 months. So let's get right to it. Now, first, a wake-up call. Now, we all know, it's commonly known that, businesses that start within the first 5 years, over half of them will have failed. So if we had 10 businesses by the 5th year, we would probably only have about 2 left. And 10 years and beyond, 1 out of 25 remains. So we can see that tough times hit businesses of all sizes, and we can see that from the days of Enron and WorldCom. Small, medium, or large, tough times hit businesses of all size. But there are things that you can put in place to minimize your risk of failure. Things that you can put in place to almost predict your chances of great achievement in your business. Now, putting your business on autopilot. Now, most businesses, they run their business focused on the product or the service. But what you want to think about is the product versus your system. And we can look at that best when we look at McDonald's. Now, if I ask you, does McDonald's have the best hamburgers? Many people who will argue with me that they don't. But if I ask you if McDonald's have the best sales system or the best marketing system or the best distribution system, if I said yes, you probably couldn't find many people to argue with me. Because that is the thing. The point is, you do not have to have the best product in order to sell billions of your product or your service. Instead, you have to be able to outthink, outsell, outmarket, and outsmart your competition. And how do you do that? You put systems in place. You put systems in place. You see, planning, policies, and procedures. You can no longer maintain a long-term competitive advantage with the products you sell, or with the prices you charge, or with the location where you're at. Your competition sells the same products and services. They charge the same prices you charge. And because of the internet, location, you can just throw location out of the window. It's a non-factor now. The real key to success in business is the effectiveness of systems you have in place. The effectiveness, let me repeat that. The effectiveness of the systems you have in place is the real key to success in business. And I'm talking about the systems you have in place for your marketing, your lead generation, systems for conversion rate, systems for sales, systems for customer service, for referrals. And I'm not just talking about asking for a referral. I'm talking about actual systems in place. Systems in place to increase your profit margins. Systems for fulfillment, for distribution, for staff selection. Systems for training, for time management. When you put systems in place, you can sort of step back out of the equation for the most part. And when you have a system in place, it becomes almost predictable. It becomes automatic. It becomes measurable. And that's what you want in your business. Because when you know measurable numbers, when you know predictable numbers, you know how to make adjustments and plans accordingly in any direction that you want to take in your business. Now, speaking of systems, the keys to skyrocketing your profits involves 7 key areas that I'm going to discuss with you now to implement systems or strategy systems for marketing and sales. The 7 Rainmaker keys to massive business growth. And that is to increase the annual number of leads, to increase the conversion rate, to increase the number of transactions per year, to increase the average transaction value. You want to put systems in place to increase your profit margins, to increase the annual numbers of referrals, to increase the average buying lifetimes in years. And we at Rainmaker Business Development Organization, that is what we do. We have simple, low, and no-cost strategies and systems and processes that we put in place in each one of these key areas. whereas you're poised to grow your business and double it within the next 12 to 18 months. When you think about it, increasing each of these Rainmaker keys by just a small margin will skyrocket your bottom line profits, and I'm going to give you an example of that. Now, most people, when they think about increasing their business value or increasing their profits, they mainly focus on one thing: increasing the number of leads. But I'm going to show you why that is dangerous. You know, you might even have a couple of distribution channels or a couple of ways that you bring in leads, but most businesses focus on one, no more than two. Now, what we're talking about here is when you building a business, an unstable business will look like this. Now, many businesses rely on just one method of generating income. This is called the diving board philosophy, and you may have a couple. Now, if you're banking on one distribution system, that is very dangerous, because if you tilt on one end, you're not building a stable foundation. Your business is poised to tilt over. So what you want to do is begin to look at implementing multiple distribution channels. So look at what happens when you put multiple distribution channels in place. Now, you may be using referral systems, or you may be using systems to gain endorsements, systems for advertising, put in distribution channel systems for direct mail campaigns and direct sales, even internet marketing systems. This is one of the main things that is popular in today's time, but again, there's a process and a system to it, down from selecting the correct keyword for your content on your website to split testing and testing out copywriting material, and from converting your leads to the actual sale. There's systems you put in place, formulas that you put in place to do that. There's systems that you can put in place for joint ventures to attract more business and profits. Systems for back-end sales, systems for upselling and cross-selling. As you can see, when you begin to utilize multiple distribution channels, you begin to build a stable foundation for your business, a business that is profitable in its value, not just profitable because you tend to be selling a product or selling a service. Because what happens when time comes where you come to fulfillment in life within the business? You may come times where you want to sell the business. There needs to be an exit strategy, if you will. So when time comes to exit, what will be the value of your business? If you do not have systems in place, that greatly depletes the value of your business. Now, when we look at increasing the 7 keys, we have over 444 low or no cost strategies for you to gain explosive bottom line growth within those 7 keys. We spoke about strategies to increase the number of leads. We have 110 methods for those. We have 63 methods for increasing the conversion rate, and that can be from improving your sales skills to implementing guarantees into your sales copy and your offer, or educating your prospect. We have 55 methods for increasing the number of transactions. That can be from developing a back end to price inducements. And again, there are no cookie cutter solutions for any business out there. So that's why you have to find the right system and the right niche to put in place to your business, where you can manifest those exponential growth. You can put in systems in place for increasing the transaction value. We have 53 methods for that. Putting systems in place for increasing the profit margin, 68 methods for that. We have about 57 methods for strategies for increasing the number of referrals that you get. We have 38 methods for increasing the buying lifetime of your customer. So you can begin to see, just by increasing just a small percentage in each area, can exponentially grow your business. And I'm going to give you an example right now of what I mean. Now, a typical business model. Now, let's say a typical business model, for sake of round numbers, we're going to use 100 here. So a typical business model, let's say they get a number of leads per month's time is 100 in a month's time. Their conversion rate is about 30%, so that equates to about 30 sales. The number of transactions, there are 2, so that equates to 60 sales out of that. So their transaction value is $100, so that equates to $6,000 in gross revenue. Now, this business profit margin is about 50%, so their net revenue is $3,000. Now their number of referrals that they get from those leads is about one. So that's $3,000 in net revenue for that, annual net revenue. So your total annual revenue is $6,000 for that, just that month, on those 100 leads that you got for that month. $6,000. And so if you know your average buying lifetime of that lead, of that customer, and here we know this, in this case it is 3 years. So the lifetime value of each lead that turned into a sale is $18,000. $18,000. So when you know the value of each customer, you have better indication of what you're able to spend to obtain that customer. You know what you can spend as far as marketing, as far as your budget. You know how many leads you need to get to increase certain things. That is just an astronomical important number, to know the value of each customer. Now look here. Now just by adding just 10% we spoke of, just by adding 10% in each area, we're going to go over as an example how it could affect this business here as an example. Now we increased the number of leads by 10% here. Now we have 110. We increased the conversion rate by 10%. Now that is increased to 33%, which is 36 now. Increased the number of transactions by 10%, which equals to 80 now, 2.2. We increased the transaction value. Now that went up from 6,000 to 8,800. We increased the profit margin 10%. That equates now to 55%. So it was $3,000 in net revenue, which is now 4,840. We increased the number of referrals by 10%. That equates to $5,324 now. So the total annual revenue now has increased from $6,000 to $10,164. We increased the buying lifetime average by 10%, so that is now 3.3. So now instead of $18,000 of the lifetime value, that has increased from $18,000 to $33,541. So you can see just by adding 10%. So just a 10% increase in each one of the 7 keys, each one of these areas has equated to 186% overall. Now you would think that 10% in each area, that would be 70%, but no, these are geometric figures here. These are exponential numbers here, as far as exponentially increasing. And no business is a cookie cutter solution. One area may increase 50% where another may increase only 5. One may increase 75 where another may only increase 12. But the point is, when you put systems and strategies in place to increase these keys, your business will be poised for exponential growth, even double within the next 12 to 18 months. So let's summarize the success principles here, what we went over. We have discovered that businesses fail because they do not make enough sales. And why they do not make enough sales is because they do not have the proper systems in place where those sales are constantly coming in. There's a spray and pray approach to marketing, if there is any marketing at all that is done nowadays. Marketing systems are the ultimate business leverage within your business. If you do not have a great marketing system in place, I can show you that you're in shaky grounds. Your customers must see you as being different, so you must position yourself as being different. You must rise above the clutter. You know, we get 3,000 plus messages a day. So how will you rise above the clutter? You have to have a unique service proposition. Create one of those. Create one. Your marketing activity must rise out of that clutter and be effective. And you can do that with your USP. So knowing the lifetime value of your customer tells you scientifically how much you can spend to acquire new customers. And that is so important to a business. Having multiple channels of distribution. If you're relying on 1 or even 2 channels, which is what most businesses focus on, you're not building a strong foundation. You must put in multiple distribution channels to have a stable foundation as far as the business value of your company. Okay, now also use the 7 keys to exponentially grow your business. The 7 keys we just went over, you want to put in systems and strategies in place. For each one of those 7 key areas, you can double your business revenue within the next 12 to 18 months. I want to thank you for joining me. Stay tuned, and we will have some more videos coming up, and I'll see you then.